So hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So I wasn't expecting to walk around review this today. I was invited to the launch of the 2022 Chevrolet Suburban High Country. I was supposed to walk around review that, but they already had a customer. Knowing this was still here, I was able to ask Ma'am Jen and she allowed me to walk around review this. Also, I'd like to thank her so much, and to the people here in Chevrolet Makati. Their contact details will be in the description down below. Then this will also conclude the Corvette trilogy. I have a C6 and C7 review as well. So being the first ever mid-engine Corvette, I mean, just it looks so stunning from what it is. I mean, yes, we don't get the front engine Corvettes anymore, but this looks aggressive and I love it. In my C6 review, that was my favorite. Second is the C7 and third is the C8. I do like the yellow color. It is their official racing color. As you all know, I'm a big motorsport fan. And the lights here, as you can see, these are all LED. They are massive. I mean, look, they're the size of my arm. And the ground clearance is actually just this high, but the official ground clearance, it states it's 135 millimeters. You can only avail the Z51 performance package here in the Philippines. This one costs around 10,502,888 pesos. I've asked some of my friends with this price for a mid-engine Corvette. This is probably one of the best bang for the buck supercars on our roads today. And here at the looks, yes, as I said earlier, everything throughout is aggressive AF. I mean, it just looks so stunning. You have big wheels here. A lot of gloss black on the exterior, as you can see here, but it's on the outside. I don't mind it anyways. And there's something special now, since this being a mid-engine now. There are two boot buttons here in the interior. You can activate them both at the same time, which I find really cool. So open this boot, the front boot up first. Total space here is around 356 liters. That goes for both boots already. There's no official figure with them separated. But this one is like your conventional sports car / supercar boot. You can fit a lot of stuff here, like my bag. And funny that there is a anti-trapping mechanism here and a 12-volt socket. So in case you put someone here in front, then they can just release it. But I have no idea why would you put a person here in the first place. Anyway, and also I do like this little design here. It looks like mountains here. So side profile of the Corvette C8, there's a lot of character lines here and there, even on the side skirts. I love there's an angle there as well. And there's also a gloss black thing over here. There's actually a vent for your radiator here on the side. So here now at the rear of the Corvette C8, yeah, this is probably one of the most controversial parts of the Corvette C8 since being a mid-engine now. But I do like the rear. It's slowly growing on me. I mean, it still carries the Corvette. I mean, look here, even the taillights, they look very similar to the C7, the one it replaced. And you have a Corvette badge as well here. And also a lovely touch that they still kept this from the C7. There is a Stingray badge over here. And below here, you have gloss black again, but you have a diffuser-ish here. There's a vent here. They're also real. And like every other Corvette I reviewed so far, you have quad tailpipes all around for the glorious 6.2 liter V8. This is still a 6.2 liter V8, but of course, being a mid-engine now, there's a lot of new parts in it. And also you have a gurney flap / spoiler over here. It does look nice. I'm surprised this one's not gloss black. And another party piece now of the Corvette C8, since this is a mid-engine supercar now. Despite the engine still being here, there is another boot space here. And you can see it's quite long. And also, General Motors themselves said you can fill a golf bag here. I believe them. I mean, look at it. It's pretty long. There's a net storage as well there. And one light. And you can see that glorious V8 engine. I'll get to that later. And also, I just realized this is also the first mid-engine supercar on my channel. Hey, what an honor. And like every other Corvette, I still like they kept this. This still has soft close. That is so cool. So with that on the exterior, I'll show you the interior if my camera fits. And I also like when you open the door, it's a button here just below the gloss black part. So this is the interior of the Corvette C8 Stingray. Oh my gosh, you see really low. And let's start here on the door. There's a lot of leather, barely plastics whatsoever. So quality here. Probably the best Chevrolet I've experienced so far. So here in the door, being a Corvette, there is Bose speakers all around. I love the red leather part here. It does look similar to the C6 for some reason. And then you have aluminum trims here where you case your window switches. That's the only thing that's plastic. And you have your lock buttons here. And for opening the door, I am not gonna miss that this time. I keep missing that in every Corvette so far. And there's a small cubby space there, which I assume only fits your phone. And like every other Corvette, there's a designation here below the door. But for this C8 Corvette, it only says here Stingray, unlike the C6 and C7 where it says Corvette. So also big reveal of the door. Like every other Corvette, you can remove the roof here since this is a targa top. I love this is a mid-engine supercar already. They still kept the Corvette tradition of removing this roof. And you can even store it in the boot if you want. That's why it's very fancy. You have two places already where you can store your luggage. And then here in the steering wheel, this is probably the most square-ish steering wheel I've ever seen. Very similar to a British brand, which I shall not name. And also like the Corvette C6, there's paddle shifters here. And there's a long throw on the paddle shifters. Listen to this. That sounds so good. So I'll demo all the tech later on since this car's already running out of gas already. And here on the left side, there are 3 buttons. Actually, they're more for toggle switches. And then further down below, your electronic parking brake is weirdly positioned there. And then you have aluminum pedals. So here in the steering wheel. So on the left side, you have your cruise control function, and there's a Z button here. No idea what that is, so probably that's the track mode, I assume only. And then on the right side you have your adjustment for the infotainment system and heating steering wheel function. And then 4 more buttons here below for your favorites button and your volume adjustments. Oh, there it is. I was looking for that. I like everything is driver-centric. Like all the screens are facing to me only, not on the passenger. And yes, the other controversial part of this Corvette is the buttons here in the center console. I wasn't a big fan of it at first, but when I sat here last Saturday during the launch of the new Suburban, I don't mind it at all. It's actually intuitive. I mean, I know where it's all placed. It's not cluttered anymore in the center console. Drive modes, I like this. Looks like a German brand, the layout. And your gear selector buttons, like, look at that. I've never seen that layout before. You have 2 cup holders here. They fit my big water jug. And then center console box. Oh, there's a nice little C8. Also, shout out to the owner as well. I would have done the same thing. And there are 2 USB ports, 1 USB and a normal USB port. And then also the seats, I love there's carbon fiber here. There's also a Corvette embossment here. They're red, yet they're sport bucket race style seats. I'm really happy to drive this as a daily. I mean, I'm still comfortable. And look at the bolstering. That's how much I can move only. So if you're planning to take a C8 on a track day, this will suit all of your needs in a track. Well, also there's memory seating functions here, and I like in the passenger side, you can lock the door as well. Dashboard, lovely material, soft touch here and there. There's 2 long air conditioning vents, and then the glove box. That's probably the biggest I've seen on a sports car. Also, when I sat here for the first time last Saturday, I was looking for the hazard button. I couldn't find it until now. It's above here. There are a lot more buttons here. SOS button, no idea what that is. There's also safety reminders on the right side, and there's LED lights here. I should have turned that on. Anyway, I won't wait. Never mind. I won't turn that on. Might deflate the battery. And visor, there. Oh gosh, it looks thin, but there's a vanity mirror. At least, yeah. There's really small. Let's see. Oh! I remember the C6 did not extend, but the C7 did. Alright, good job, Corvette, Chevrolet. And also, when you open the sun visors, there are the latches here for uncoupling the roof. As well, one over here, just pull that. And as well, very quirky, the center here. Sadly, there's no more body-colored Corvette placement over here like the C6 and C7. But at least this still retained a Corvette Stingray logo just here on the speaker. And I was wondering what this place was, if you can see. There's actually a place for your phone. My big phone can fit. It's a tight squeeze, but it can fit. But my other small phone, my second camera, it does fit there perfectly. So that's about it here in the Chevrolet Corvette C8. Let's start this thing up as demo all the tech. Also a few more things. There's lights for your pedals, and also like every other Corvette, in case this goes slow, but there, that's your manual release. Wow, look at that, it's aluminum as well. Ooh. Wow. Okay, the infotainment system. Okay, looks like every other Corvette, the layout. Okay, it's really responsive like the Tracker over there and the Trailblazer. Very similar infotainment. And look at those. That's so cool. And yeah, like every other Corvette, even the C6, when you start it up, the car just shakes like crazy. So there's your Z stuff. Ah, so the Z button over here, if you can see, it's actually your drive, the display drive modes, I assume. Look at that. Ah yeah, it's your drive modes. So that's the only thing I can play with here. Also, like every other Chevrolet, like the Trailblazer except the Tracker, this one has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And let's try the reverse camera only. Do not move this. Oh, look at that. Wow, that's so crisp. Probably the best cameras I've experienced on the Chevrolet so far. So this is the glorious engine of the Corvette C8. It's a 6.2 aluminum block, naturally aspirated V8 that produces 474 horsepower and 2 Newton meters of torque. And this one, for the first time ever for a Corvette, this one's mated to an 8-speed dual clutch transmission. So it's as far as I go. I really wish I can drive it. Maybe, hopefully, so you never know. But before we leave, let's hear the glorious exhaust.